Straight ahead on CCX News, a city's effort to cut down on traffic crashes. See what Plymouth is doing to try to improve safety on the roads. Plus,
the greatest majority of people have expressed a desire to have a wall built.
Maple Grove's version of building a wall, the construction project some residents want to see, but others aren't so convinced. And where's the snow?
It's a little taxing on, adds stress because you never know.
Why this winter some businesses are seeing the wrong kind of green. CCX News starts right now. Hello everyone, and thanks for joining us. Plymouth police have a new program to help cut down on vehicle crashes. According to officials, there were more than 800 motor vehicle accidents in the city last year. This number doesn't include crashes on private property or freeways. Reporter Sonia Goins shows us what they're doing to make the roads safer.
Thousands of people navigate Plymouth roads each day. Highway 55 is probably one of the most traveled.
It's just a thoroughfare out to Minneapolis from everybody from out west.
Keeping the roads accident-free is the #1 priority for traffic officer Steve Thomas.
We get a lot of accidents at 55 in Fernbrook here. I don't know why.
It's not unusual for him to catch folks speeding.
Here, we're going to stop this guy right here.
City officials want to know why, too. The police department is rolling out a strategic plan to keep track and reduce the number of accidents.
Look at why exactly those crashes are happening and target actual reasons.
Deputy Chief Eric Fadden is hitting up the study. He says there are several key pieces to the safety plan, including teaming up with school bus drivers. They want to know what drivers are seeing as they take students back and forth to school.
If they are seeing issues when it comes to driver behavior or intersections or areas within the city where they feel crashes are more prevalent.
Officials are also trying to figure out why many people are not being cautious when they see flashing yellow arrows.
Flashing yellows have increased our accidents by about 22%.
New smaller radar speed signs are also on the list. They will be used to check traffic flow and to catch speeders. And crews are busy installing these blue lights on traffic signals on Highway 55. When the light turns red, the blue light glows, making it easier for cops to spot people who run through red lights.
And then we watch the intersection, and if they're going through that intersection, we can issue them a citation.
The program officially gets underway in a few months. Officials want motorists to be more careful.
Do you have a driver's license and proof of insurance?
And hopefully they can avoid getting one of these. In Plymouth, Sonia Goins, CCX News.
An upcoming reconstruction project on I-94 in Maple Grove has residents along Rice Lake asking a question. Should we build a wall, a noise reduction wall? One resident who lives along Rice Lake adds some perspective.
All night, these guys are doing the down braking to get into the bus stop there. And at least once a week you hear a tire explode over there and you'd think somebody shot a cannon.
The noise along I-94 became an unexpected topic of discussion during an open forum at this week's Maple Grove City Council meeting. MnDOT tells residents it has budgeted for a noise reduction wall should they want it. People who live, run, or bike along Rice Lake will be impacted by it.
The people that use the lake, where in your boat on Rice Lake, you can't hear anybody on your boat if you're within 50 yards of the trails where the highway is.
I am not for the wall. I think Rice Lake is a beautiful lake. It's a beautiful gem. We have the noise. We can't do anything about it.
I've been in Maple Grove almost 30 years, and the day I moved in, of course there wasn't that much noise, but it was noisy. And I've complained to the city, and all I get back is, it's not going to work.
Engineers say the wall may help for some homeowners, but for others across the lake, it may not help at all. Neighbors who would be impacted should have received a letter in the mail from MnDOT. The Maple Grove City Council will also weigh in, holding a vote, possibly in February. For any Minnesotan who has lived through last year's record-setting snowfall, this year has been a welcome reprieve. But as Delane Cleveland reports, for businesses that rely on snow, this winter has been a big disappointment.
As any true Minnesota resident knows, winter usually arrives weeks before the official start of the season. Such was the case in late November when Plymouth declared a snow emergency. But fast forward to January 10th.
We're on January 10th. We haven't had a lot of snow yet this year, as you might expect by just looking around.
Thanks to a mild winter, the snowmen don't look very, well, manly, and many yards are covered in more green than white.
But that's where I catch the precipitation.
According to New Hope weather watcher Steve Reckers, we've only received 12 inches of snow so far this season. That's 26 inches below normal.
Partly because we seem to be in an El Nino pattern. We're warmer this year than we were last year. We're maybe more likely to get more liquid precipitation, rain, freezing rain, that kind of thing.
While that may be good news to some,
it's a little taxing on, adds stress because you never know.
Jordan Steinke, a sales associate at Heinen's in Osseo, isn't among that category of people.
With the slow season and the little snow, though, we have seen it affect. It's difficult around here just because not everybody's able to travel and go up north where there has tended to be a little bit more snow.
Normally this time of year, snowmobiles would be the big sellers, but with below average snow totals in the metro, they've had to adjust their prices to attract customers.
Just small amounts.
The good news is that their customer base extends beyond Minnesota.
We do sell all over the country. Out west is a big area for us.
For a business that's dependent on weather, hope springs eternal.
Snowmobilers are the most optimistic people in the world because if it didn't snow last year, this year's going to be the year.
However,
that's what we use to measure snowfall.
The weather expert is a little more cautious.
If I was betting, I would bet on a below normal snowfall this year and probably a continuation of the mild temperatures.
In New Hope, Delane Cleveland, CCX News.
At the inauguration of Governor Tim Walz this week, a group of teachers led the procession into the Fitzgerald Auditorium. One of those teachers was Robbinsdale School Board member David Boone. Here's video from Twitter. Governor Tim Walz invited Boone to the event. The two taught together several years ago at Mankato West High School. They were both assistant coaches with the girls basketball team. Boone said it was a pleasure and an honor to walk in with the governor. This week, new school board members took the oath of office to begin work on a new term. In the Osseo District, Jessica Craig, Tanya Simons, and Kelsey Dawson-Walton were sworn in. Jackie Mosqueda-Jones was sworn in at a previous board meeting since she's serving the remainder of a term. Robbinsdale school board members did not take their oath of office this week due to the school board meeting being canceled because of inaccessibility. The elevator wasn't working. The meeting has been rescheduled for January 14th. Still ahead on CCX News, how some Maple Grove Elementary School students are learning the importance of giving back. Plus, Champlin Park takes aim at another win in prep gymnastics. We'll have the highlights later in sports. But first, we're in the quiet zone. No January weather drama in sight. Giving back to those in need, it's something we sometimes talk about, but how often do we do it? In today's School Spotlight, reporter Meredith Hackler takes us to Cedar Island Elementary School, where students there are giving back year-round.
You ready? With donated items and smiling faces, students at Cedar Island Elementary are learning the importance of helping those in need.
I think kids just naturally want to help other people, and this is something very concrete, that they can see that there's something that they're doing, that there's an end result, that they know they're helping somebody else.
And while helping others is an important part of the school's Year of Service program, teachers say it helps the kids grow as individuals.
It's just something that helps an individual be well-rounded. Certainly at school, we always think about the academics, that we're going to help kids improve with their academic life. But we also think it's very important, and we heard from parents that they wanted us to encourage that kind of altruistic feeling amongst the kids.
The program gets students involved in 3 service projects throughout the year. Each are hands-on and benefit local nonprofits. One of those projects benefited local cancer patients. Students packed goodie bags that included a note of encouragement that students hand wrote themselves.
Just something, a day brightener, something that when someone sits down to treatment and they open their bag, they'll have just a little ray of sunshine that comes out from some elementary kids.
The goal is to instill the importance of community service at a young age. And from the looks of it, the program is working.
It's important to me because even though they might be different than all of us and they need help, we still appreciate them as who they are.
In Maple Grove, Meredith Hackler, CCX News.
Cedar Island Elementary students have another service project in the spring where they will be making fleece blankets that will be donated to a local animal rescue organization. Still ahead, it's time to hunt for Plymouth's Fire and Ice Medallion. We'll give you a clue later in the show. But first, the Maple Grove Gymnastics team is excelling this winter. John Jacobson shares their story of success later in sports.
Champlin Park's gymnastics team will be aiming for a 5th trip to the state tournament in 6 years next month. The Rebels scored a season-high points for the season on Wednesday. They were at home to face both Anoka and Blaine. Champlin Park on the vault. Tashina Biaku-Alase hits for a 9.05, good for 3rd place in the meet. Defending state champion Cheney New nearly perfect on her first vault, scoring a 9.8 from both judges. On the balance beam, the Rebels' Emma Saxa's dismount ends in a very good routine for a score of 9.325, placing her 3rd in the event. Saxa is also solid on the uneven bars, scoring a 9.05, but for 2nd place. New sticks her landing on the bars to earn a 9.525 score. She wins 3 of the 4 events and the all-around. Champlin Park wins the double duel with a team score of 145.0. Also in gymnastics Wednesday, Park Center hosted Elk River Zimmerman. Park Center junior Alyssa Lance medaled twice at last Saturday's MGGOA meet, and she had Park Center's best mark in the vault in this meet with a score of 8.3. Elk River Zimmerman's Abby Rexted broke her ankle 2 weeks before the season, competed for the first time last night, and she wins the uneven bar, scoring an 8.8. Pirates coach Bruce Smith's team dealing with injuries of their own right now, but they still get some solid performances, including Alea Tweet on balance beam, who scores a season-high 8.15. But the Elks have a little more depth and are one of the better teams in the conference. Miranda Schwieger wins the floor exercise and the all-round. Elk River scores 136 to 121.525 for the Pirates. Maple Grove is having a very strong season in gymnastics. As Jay Wilcox reports, they are enjoying the ride.
You'll often hear high school athletes and especially coaches say they don't pay attention to rankings. Not so in the Maple Grove Gymnastics program. They're thrilled to be ranked number 2 in Class AA.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. We're pretty proud of it. I feel really good. I feel like we've been working really well as a team, and it's been a really good year.
It is a huge topic, and it's awesome that we are number 2 in the state. I tell everyone about it and how I'm so excited about what this team is going to bring for the next few weeks.
We're talking about it all the time. We can't believe it. Like I said, this is a humble team. We had no idea that that's how high up we were ranked. We're just doing our best, working hard every day, and can't wait to see what happens.
It's been an outstanding season so far for Maple Grove, better than they expected. After the holiday break, the team is in the middle of back-to-back Saturday invitationals, competing against top teams last Saturday at the MGGOA at Park Center and this weekend in Lakeville.
I think it's a really good test because, obviously you get nervous at those meets and, for sections and, if we make it to state, they're back-to-back, so it's kind of practice for that.
It's always challenging to get back into school and the swing of things, and the girls have a hard time not being structured. But I really believe that because it's go, 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 they get back into it quicker. So we don't always do our best at these invites, but it's a really good way to jumpstart back.
They're aiming high at Maple Grove with the talent to get there. Jay Wilcox, CCX Sports.
After competing at Lakeville North Saturday, Maple Grove is at home for dual meets the next 3 Thursdays, wrapping up with a head-to-head matchup against Champlin Park. a meet you'll be able to see here on CCX. Using the right kind of fishing line and rod can make a difference when out on one of Minnesota's frozen lakes this winter. Terry Tuma explains in this week's CCX Ice Fishing Tip.
I have received many questions about using braided line for ice fishing. Does it work and do you use it? It works very well, and yes, I use it for crappies, for sunfish, and also for walleye. The disadvantage of a braided line is there's no stretch factor. The pluses for a braided line, super sensitive, minimal amount of drag resistance because of the diameter. It's very, very strong. But what we have to do is use a rod that's going to have very soft or flexible tip, and the center part of that blank, the power of that blank needs to be bendable, if you will, or pliable, just to give so you can absorb the shock of that fish. And then your drag system needs to be loose so you can, again, land that fish. What we can do and what we should do is either use a black barrel swivel or tie your mono line right to your fire line, your braided line, for added stretch, if you will. Something has to give, and that mono is going to afford that. You can use that, as I have here, with a shad wrap, with vertical jigging spoon, with a small ice lure for crappies or sunfish. But there's a lot of pluses in using the mono attached to the braided line, the stretch factor, the no stretch factor, and the drag resistance, something we should consider. And yes, it does work very well. Give it a try this winter.
Thanks, Terry. And that's all for sports. Shannon, back to you.
All right, thanks, John. Up next, the hunt is on for Plymouth's Fire and Ice Medallion. Clue number 1 when we come back. Finally, the weather definitely isn't an excuse this year not to get out and hunt for Plymouth's Fire and Ice Medallion. The hunt is on and the first clue has dropped. Here it is. We've hunted 9 years for the Fire and Ice treasure, venture outdoors, and take in nature's pleasure. The medallion is hidden where we recreate like fish to the worm. Get out and grab the bait. There will be a clue released every week until the Fire and Ice Festival begins on Saturday, February 2nd. There's no need to register to hunt, but you do have to be a Plymouth resident to win the $250 prize. And just a final note that the medallion is hidden on city property and it's not buried, but it could be partially covered. So get out there and good luck. That's all the news we have for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here again tomorrow starting at 4 o'clock.